with the special edition of Inside the Walls podcast. It's busy today here on Inside the Walls Network. This time I am with the other commissioner, this one of the National Arena League of Todd Walkenhorst. Commish, I let you do all the talking. This is pretty news to me. I'm bouncing between shows, so it's a busy night for me on my end.
It was a busy night for me. I wasn't planning on working tonight. I'll be honest with you, but that's the nature of the business. And we're just on here. We're addressing some, I guess, news that broke here tonight regarding one of our member teams, the Topeka Tropics. And we'll just give you a little background on that. Obviously there's 8 teams in the National Arena League. And indoor football, arena football, whatever you want to call it, however you want to lump it together. I think people take for granted how hard it is to keep these things, solvent sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of work, and that's part of the job, and that's what I signed up for. And that's, kind of what we do. It's usually behind the scenes. So specifically on Topeka, we had 8 teams that came in. I took this position in October. And one thing that, you follow the National Arena League, it's, and a lot of indoor team or leagues, consistency of those franchises, that's always the toughest thing. And that's the biggest knock, I think, on this league in the last few years. And that's something we needed to improve on. And that was one of the big things I wanted to improve on. And I think we talked earlier this year when we were together that we would have criteria and make sure that the teams, obviously I would like some due diligence on the front end that maybe did or did not happen. Again, I wasn't present for that, but we would be making sure that these teams meet that criteria as we prepare to kick off for the 2024 season. So specifically with Topeka, quite frankly, they did not meet those standards. One included league affiliations agreements to, pay your dues and have some of that into place, and they're in violation of that. Now, let me say the ownership group, some of it was out of their control. It wasn't like they did not do things, some of it they just were not able to take care of. There are some outside factors that kind of prevented that from happening successfully. So it's a little different situation than just teams that fail, if I will say. So what happened was, they were not compliant. When you get to this point in the season, obviously we're getting ready to kick off next month. We needed to address that. The board of directors made a motion revoking the membership from that ownership group. Now, that being said, that means that the current owners of the Topeka Tropics will no longer be the owners of the Topeka Tropics. The National Arena League has taken control of that franchise. At this time, the franchise has not folded or anything like that. The NAL is working, and we are in discussions right now with owners that are interested in purchasing that and operating it for the 2024 season. So we got a few things here that make me optimistic that this is a possibility. One, you haven't been to Topeka yet, but they've been in this in the Champions Indoor Football for 2 seasons. They played 20 games and they won 1. It's the very last game of the last season. So they're 1-19 all time. And guess what? There are fans at every game. It's a fun environment still. People show up for it. They were competitive too, so that did help. But this was a franchise that drew crowds, also created revenue from sponsorships, and they have revenue on the books for 2024. This isn't a situation where, they haven't sold any tickets. They don't have any money. They're totally broke or anything like that. So we have, a viable franchise in place. We just need to get some more capital in there and somebody that can operate it right now. We also have the event center there. That's a great partner. And, they want to keep that tenant in there because obviously there's, residual income for them as well. So they're cooperating with us and some community leaders to try to make that happen. They're being very cooperative, and we've been working on that. And we hope to have something in place literally in the next few business days. So right now, to recap, we've kind of taken their membership. The league owns it right now. We're in talks with people that we believe can come in and operate that for 2024. We're very optimistic. Will it happen? I hope so. Does it guarantee? Nothing's a guarantee here, and we'll be upfront about that. But right now, that's where we're at right now. The team is not folded as of the moment, and we look to try to move forward with that franchise.
So this has been behind the scenes a couple of days now. This is just not out of the blue.
Longer than a couple of days. And, we do this with all teams at different levels. I mean, some teams need, I don't want to say, that they're in trouble or anything, but, we try to help every team,
Hmm.
and, there's some things that work out. There are problems, we're operating not just a league, but, I got 8 teams. These are 8 individual businesses with small business owners with a lot of different issues. If you've ever operated a business just day to day running that business. So, that's the majority of my job is just helping a lot of those teams navigate the business part of this. And, that's if they didn't have those challenges, like I was telling Matt, they'd hire somebody better looking for less money and, it'd be an easy job. But, that's what this business is. So, we have to go get the revenues. We have to go get that in place. We're not blessed like other leagues with a large TV contract or anything like that, where we can, have revenue coming in for our, our arena teams or anything like that. So, it sometimes is a fight, and it's been well documented. Anybody's watched this business over the last, year to 20 years or 25 years, this isn't anything new, but our goal is to minimize it, and recognizing the issues isn't the challenge, right? I go on Facebook, everybody tells me all the issues. Trust me, it's correcting those issues and making the most out of it, and having a stronger league going forward. And that's what I intend to do, and that's what we're working on.
So right now, the 2024 schedule is not being affected as of this moment.
As of right now, it is not. Obviously, if we do have to disband that team, it would be. Uh, we also do have, I mean, I'll kind of in my pocket, we do have some other alternatives. If it did come to that, there is a, possibly a plan B or so. We will do everything we can to keep a viable league. And, there are teams that have reached out to us about playing in 2025 already. You
Hmm.
know, that might be an option, getting some of those together too. So everything, sometimes you have to get creative in this business, and we'll look at all the options. And we're aware, we want to do what's best, obviously, for our players, our fans, sponsors, everybody involved, be the least, destructive if we do have to make any changes. And we're aware of that, So we're going to do everything in our power to do that.
Well, it seems like you're on top of the game. So when I got the news to break, I was told a couple of days ago, like something's happening, and I didn't know until it leaked today. And then me doing another show, it drops. I'm like, oh, I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what to
Right.
do. Luckily, Matt, who is currently doing a show right now with Omaha, you got a chance to get over there and do it. What are the next phases for the league? You mentioned about the teams for 2025 and beyond. Is there conversations with them already because they reached out to you earlier in the year for trying to get into this year, or is it just Plan
I won't
B's,
get
like you
too
just said?
deep into it, but I will say that there are teams feeling out for next year for, let's just say they're looking for believe it or not, based on even tonight, a more secure league situation they're in right now. So that's why I actually
Mhm.
feel good about what we're doing overall. Whatever it looks like on the outside, that's my job to polish that up and, make sure everybody does feel good about it. But the people that actually do have to write checks and operate these businesses are interested in the National Arena League, and, and are approaching us about that. And for whatever reason, that they think it's a better opportunity. So there's a lot of things that go into those discussions, as you know, whether it's footprint or the league structure or, whatever, and that's what we've talked about before. The IFL, obviously, you just were talking to the other Todd, right?
Yeah.
They're a different flavor of business, and they have their spot, and we have our spot, and and it works better for other teams to be there. It works better for other teams to be here. Our goal is to get those businesses and teams into the position that works best for them, because I think in our bigger discussion, it's in our best interest to have successful teams in this business in whatever league they are. We want opportunities for players and to be successful with that and good experiences. And whatever problems come from having too many good teams, I'll deal with that. That's not an issue. So, our job is to hold up our end. Again, it's not easy. If it was, there'd be a lot more people doing it. But that's part of the challenge. That's part of the business, and it's what I signed up for, because believe it or not, that's I enjoy doing that, and going through that, navigating that obstacle course.
The prompt response is pretty appreciated. Just want to say,
Well, I appreciate you getting us on. And I told Matt as well, though, the fact that many people react immediately shows the interest in our leagues, our teams. And, if nobody responded, I'd be more concerned.
mm-hmm.
If nobody cared, I got a bigger problem. Nobody, could care less about our league and our teams, right?
Right.
So, in a funny way, that's a great sign for me that there is that much concern. I'll put out here, as well that, again, the way it's communicated, some front office people, got what they knew and then passed it along to players and whatnot. Players are currently still under contract until we resolve the Topeka situation. If they're with Topeka, we're going to take care of that as a league. So, that's all in place. Obviously, the coaches, once we get the ownership or whatever happens there, we'll, get them and make sure they're all communicated with. But so, some information got out maybe a little bit out of order. And, that's everybody's prerogative. I'm not, that's, we'll deal with that. But we will keep everybody updated as much as we can. But I also am not going to put out information until it's accurate and we actually know what we're dealing with too. So, that's kind of our position on that. But, I appreciate that you guys wanted to know exactly what's going on. And again, Topeka's a good market. And, if it wasn't, I'd write a press release that says Topeka's no longer a league. That's it. We'd move on, but that's not the case. So, we're going to put in the due diligence to see if we can move forward in 2024 with Topeka. It's a market we'd like to keep in play.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for more up-to-date news on the National Arena League, make sure you follow us on Twitter at NWallsPod, at Facebook Inside the Walls, NationalArenaLeague.com, and all the 8 organizations' websites and social media accounts to be updated. I've always said on this show, we do not report on rumors. We report on facts, and we get the man with the facts himself on today's pop-up podcast in the middle of Thursday night. So,
yeah,
Commissioner,
Thursday.
Yeah.
You're interrupting.
Are you going to partake in Thursday now?
I'm going to now. Yeah.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week for another edition of Inside the Walls podcast for more up-to-date information on this situation. Topeka has not folded. The players are still under contract, and the league is working its way to you took complete control over the Topeka Tropics of the league. As right now, everything is still full go for the 2024 season. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week for another edition of Inside the Walls podcast. That's the Commissioner. I am Jim. Good night, everyone.